All right, guys, welcome back to the Spin Zone podcast with me, Cake Eater, and we also got Chad and Martine. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, Martine or Vile. Oh my God, let's try that again.
I'm done. I'm done. My
Oh,
name's Martine now.
It's over.
oh
Spin
my
Zone Podcast
God,
ends today. We are
man,
canceling.
man, it's been a long week. Anyway, I'm Cake. I know that one, and that's Chad. See, it says Chad. Chad. See, Chad. Okay,
Right there.
and then this is Vile. I know Vile. This is Vile.
That's
Anyway,
our boy Vile.
this is Vile.
hey, hey, hey! Hold on. We got to do a WWE for our friends here, Cake. You think you know me?
Good old
There you go.
good old Adam Copeland Edge. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Spin Zone podcast. Hopefully, you guys are all doing very well, and hopefully, you guys are all doing fantastic today. Today we're just kind of going off of different tournament ideas because my man Vile over here, he actually had an event this past weekend that was a little different than normal. So Vile, would you kind of like to tell the group and all the listeners about your amazing tournament that you had this past weekend?
Well, okay. Let's cut the grandeur a little bit here. Amazing might be a strong word. It was a good event. It was a good, solid event.
Hey, for
We used
what
the
it
infinite.
was and the turnout, I say it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, so we use the Infinity Stadium, which is a new thing. I don't think anyone has ever used the Infinity Stadium in an event here in Minnesota previous to this, and by I don't think, I mean I know they haven't. So it was a great time to get to check out this new stadium. Our WBO rep, Acuna, was in attendance and judging, so he got a lot of hands-on experience with the arena. That's something that in his capacity as a WBO rep he was supposed to have, was an informed opinion on the Infinity Stadium and its viability to, say, potentially have its own ranked ladder or something similar. So we did get a chance to evaluate that. We did see some crazy matches and some crazy, I don't know if I want to call them strategies or not, but one of the key points to this stadium is that Hover Wyvern pops out of the over pockets 90% of the time. And that's not like a gross exaggeration based on me trying to prove a point. That's literally the statistics. The only time Hover Wyvern wouldn't pop out of the over pocket was if it went in there with barely any stamina to begin with. If it had any sort of stamina, though, when it went in, it popped out, like I said, 100% of the time during those instances. And it was really pretty crazy. I referenced the top cut, and Weird Blader had two, if not three, instances during his top cut play where he had launched his Hover Wyvern directly into an over pocket. It would sit there and spin for a while. Meanwhile, his opponent's Beyblade would extreme dash over and over and over again and send itself out the extreme finish pocket. And then the Hover Wyvern would pop back into the arena inevitably, and Weird Blader would get 3 points. And this happened like 2 or 3 times during Top Cut.
Gotta love the Infinity Stadium for sure. It's a different stadium. It plays. If you guys haven't played on the Infinity Stadium, it plays so different compared to um the TT and especially the Hasbro.
Yeah,
Hasbro
so
wishes it was as insane as the Infinity.
yeah, the long story short of the stadium is that Hover Wyvern's essentially a cheat code in that stadium. If they were going to have a ranked ladder for it, there'd probably be two major things that needed to be addressed. You'd almost have to ban Hover Wyvern because it is just so incredibly strong in that stadium because it is guaranteed to pop out of the overfinish pockets. The other thing that so that was kind of a cool feature, right? It was cool because whenever you saw Hover Wyvern, you knew the match was going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So that was actually kind of fun. It was just definitely overpowered. The problem with the pockets, though, was that there were a fair amount of bays that would go in the pocket and they had zero chance to get out. Some examples of this would be like Wizard Rod, Silver Wolf,
Mm-hmm.
Clock Mirage, Nightmail, Golem, all of these bays, for whatever reason, it didn't seem to matter what bits they were on, what ratchets they were on. maybe they sat too low, maybe they were too round and they couldn't catch the edges of the pocket in the right way, they would not ever pop out. The problem, of course, being that WBO dictates that you're supposed to wait until the bay in the pocket dies before you make a ruling. And so in some instances, we'd be sitting there for almost 2 minutes while a clock mirage sat there and spun in a pocket, and we knew it wasn't coming out.
We all
And
know.
that was some of the most boring gameplay I've ever seen at a Beyblade event, which is counterintuitive to the reason that X has become popular as a gear sport, which is that the matches are exciting, they're
Mhm.
entertaining, action packed, riveting. These are all words that we want to associate with Beyblade. And there's no association between those words and your Wizard Rod or your Clock Mirage or your Silver Wolf sitting and spinning in the pocket for a minute and a half while everyone sits there already knowing the end result, but being unable to call it because that's not what the WBO wants us to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, so I don't know about any of the action that did partake, but the Infinity Stadium.
Overall fun event, right? Like
Right.
fun event. I think all the players had a good time. I definitely think it cemented some players' opinions on the stadium one way or the other. Some players thought it was really cool and fun. Some players definitely never want to see it again. And both those opinions are fair based on how the event went. I feel like,
Mhm.
some people were more tolerant to the base spinning in the pocket for a minute than others. And some people were like, can I just pick it up? Like I was asked that several times. Like, can I just forfeit this? Like, can I say like I want to give my opponent the 2 points?
Hmm.
Like, um. So I do think that going forward, if the WBO were want to use the stadium as a ranked stadium, or even in general, just so they want to see it used for their events, whether ranked or unranked, I do believe that they need to, at bare minimum, make some sort of special rule for this stadium about the pockets, because you cannot have bays sitting and spinning for a minute or two in the pocket several times per match. That's boring. It artificially lengthens the event unnecessarily. Just Clock Mirage is never coming out. I don't want to sit and watch a spin for 2 minutes.
Right.
And I can't, it's
And
not good.
yes, same thing with Golem, and Chad and I had the chance to play test on the Infinity Stadium because both him and I were unable to go to the event this past weekend due to work. And yeah, a lot of bays just literally just sit in the pocket if they get knocked in there and just spin, and more likely than not, they don't return back to the play area.
It's very strange. I would say Hover Wyvern had a 90% coming out of the over pocket rate. It was totally insane. Like I said, unless it went in there with no stamina, it was coming out. Shark Scale, maybe closer to 50-50, 60-40. Shark Scale definitely had potential to hop out, but it did not do it with the regularity that Hover Wyvern did.
Mm-hmm.
And Aero Pegasus, although we only see a few of them, both Rico and CF Grizzly made it to Top Cut, and they were both running Aero Pegasus the entire day. So I got to see a fair amount of matches. Aero Pegasus would pop out. It wasn't quite the 90% like Hover, but I do think it was at a higher percentage than Shark Scale did.
Right. Very, very interesting. So that kind of sparked the idea of what ideas of a Beyblade X tournament would we like to see that's completely different compared to either deck format or 3v3 format, or even team battles, the 3-on-3 team battles, because those are probably the three most generic uh, Beyblade X tournament uh, ideas, if I'm not mistaken. If there's one or two extras, what do you guys think?
Well, Chad can start. I've been talking a lot.
Well, is there any
I was
other
gonna
ones
say,
besides those three?
I mean, not in Minnesota at least. I know in other countries they have Vile's favorite point buy system.
I actually like the point buy system, sort of.
It could work. They just need to fine tune it a little.
So explain what the points are. Yeah, that point system that you just talked about is for people that don't know.
In some countries, the way the point buy system works is Beyblades are have a point system between 1 and 3 attached to them, 1 being generally considered the most unusable parts in Beyblade or just the most underwhelming parts. The 2 being the anything with 2 points is like your middle ground stuff, like your rock golems, your uh that's another good one. Tyranno beats stuff that's like good but not like great per se, and then 3 points is attached to stuff like Wizard Rod, Cobalt Dragoon, Shark Scale, stuff like
So
that.
meta.
And exactly, and each part of the Beyblade had a point, or actually, I think the way they have it is it's the actual metal part that has points attached to it. I don't think they care about the ratchets or the bits,
Hmm. Very interesting.
which, eh,
Yeah.
So
it's weird.
to kind of add on to what Chad was saying, they've got some interesting formats out there. So I have heard about the point buy system that Chad's talking about. Him and I had to kind of talk that through pretty recently, and I know we
Mhm.
talked about it with some other people on the Great Plains Discord. What I personally like is that New Zealand is running a tier system essentially, and they have all the Beyblades ranked in either A, B, or C tier, and they'll have different formats based on that. So there'll be a format where it's totally open, you can run whatever you want. They'll have a format where you can have like an A and two Bs, or you can have only Bs and Cs, or you can have a B and two Cs. And so they could, by using this ABC tiering system, they can essentially create various forms of limited kind of on the fly, which I kind of like
Yeah, that's
because
different.
I think one of the most boring things about Beyblade for some players. Now, listen, some players definitely are meta chasers. They love seeing the Wizard Rod, the Hover Wyvern, the Shark Scale every round, and they want to test their mettle against the very best players using the very best bays every opportunity. However, I do think, especially here in Minnesota, we have a wider breadth of the community that actually prefers to play with some different things sometimes. They don't always want to see the same top players with the same top bays smoking them over and over and over each and every time they see these people.
Mhm.
And I think a format where we did have a tiering system and we could kind of be like, okay, this week it's going to be whatever you want. Next week it'll be 1A and 2Bs. The following week it'll be nothing in A tier. The next week we're only using things from C tier, so like a super kind of limited thing like Sam would run. I think having a system like that here in America would make setting up different levels of tournaments very straightforward and very understandable.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and well, the point buy system for bits and ratchets and blades, I do believe it's a cool system. I do dislike the fact that it probably is a little overly complicated for the average player. At my events, I tend to get essentially every event, I'll get probably at minimum 4 like random kids who will show up for the first time, and they may or may not ever come back. But trying to explain to their parents what bays they can or can't use, or even if they have enough bays to be making decisions like that to begin with, that's tough, you know? Um, so I don't know that I like the point buy system as much. I think I do like the ABC tiering system. I think it's clean, it's simple, it's easy to understand. You're not having to add up points. Judges aren't having to verify points. It's good. But Cake, beyond just that type of stuff, there are other formats. I know that Gingerbeard has officially closed on a deal to run a make a deck for your opponent essentially event.
Yeah,
I
he's
believe
been
that's going
talking
to
about
Reverse
be,
that for a
Uno.
while.
yeah,
And
he has been, and he finally sealed the deal with Joe this weekend. While we were at my event, that's going to happen. I could be very wrong, so please double check this, everyone. But I think it's early April, maybe April 3rd or something. I believe the event's going to start at like 3. I could have this totally wrong, but it's a few months out still, a few months out for sure. And
are
it's going to be a reversal event, so it's going to be kind of cool. That's a totally different format that you didn't touch on, you
Uh,
know?
yeah, and that's kind of the discussion that I do want kind of have with you guys. Like, what kind of fun events besides those 3 typical ones that are the 3v3, the format, and then also the team battles, which are the most common. So, what are some fun gimmick tournament styles that you guys would like to see?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but one of them could be a Bays and Bricks promo.
Oh, what is
You
that,
know what time
Chad?
it is.
Yeah, what is a Bays and Bricks
Ladies,
promo?
gentlemen, and everyone in between, be sure to visit Bays and Bricks today and use code SPINZONE to save 7% off your order. That's SPINZONE at Bays and Bricks for 7% off your order. This coupon is usable twice per account.
Absolutely. So go ahead, go to baysandbricks.com, go pick up those Shark Scales sets, the Mighty sets, and any other kind of pre-orders like that Dragoon Meteor that just dropped
Ooh,
about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think we've really covered that. We should probably find some time towards the end of the episode to talk about the upcoming releases. So we haven't done that in over a month, I don't think.
yeah, well, it's been
it's
kind of
been a
stale.
while.
It's been kind of
It
stale
has
with
been.
releases though, so there hasn't really been any major things. But yeah, we can definitely jump into that. So
I think we should touch on it. It is
yeah.
tough when the Emperor might released on November 1st, and then the next wave wasn't until December 27th. Normally, it's kind of always at the beginning of the month,
Hmm.
and we'd start to have some of this stuff in hand right about now here in America. Obviously, that's not we're most people in America outside of one of our good friends, Wacko Carnival, who's actually going to be in Japan when those products come out. Um, Most of us will not be getting those until January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple good things up on Bays and Bricks right now. I'm actually looking at those right now, but oh, that actually went down. Oh no, it didn't. I lied. Yeah, we could definitely touch on those a little bit later. But
But
so yeah.
tournament formats. So it's interesting because, like we talked about earlier, there's tier lists and systems that essentially they want to regulate the power of the bays that are being brought, right? Whether it's a
Yeah.
point buy system, whether it's an ABC system, the idea is to change the format based on limiting the bays that are able to be played.
Hmm.
Then you
Exactly.
have and then you have another entire aspect to this, which is the stadium. We've all come to know and mostly love the standard Takara Tomy Stadium. But as we found out this past weekend, we have the Infinity Stadium.
Hmm.
Obviously, we're all familiar with the Hasbro Stadium. There's Drop Attack, there's Clash and Carry, there's the Double Extreme, there's the three-player stadium. So there's this. Oh yeah, I almost forgot our favorite, the on clearance for $3 at Target Bucket Stadium. So my point is we do have access to 8 unique stadiums. Now some of those, the Bucket Stadium, the Drop Attack Stadium, the three-player stadium, probably not great for tournament play, but some of these other ones, I do think a Hasbro tournament could be fun at some point. What I would really like is a Hasbro limited tournament. Give or take the limited list that Sam has used at some of his previous events,
Hmm.
put it in the Hasbro stadium, and then the sparks will really fly a little bit, you know? I think it'd be fun.
Yeah,
But
he
the
did
other
that about a
thing,
couple months ago though.
yeah, but not with the Hasbro Stadium, did he?
It was with the Hasbro Stadium.
Oh, that was before my time. So that would have been during the
No,
summer.
that was the event that I took second place at.
There was no Hasbro Stadium at that. You guys are killing me.
No, I'm being
Okay,
100%.
It was.
I'm gonna call Egg up right after we're done. I'm gonna ask to see his footage. We're gonna find out. We're gonna learn.
Go for it. It was 100%. It was a Hasbro only stadium tournament.
You're a Hasbro only. So
Don't
so
ever
you can
insult me like that ever again.
oh my god. So you can vary, right? You can vary events based on the power level of bays allowed. You
Hmm.
can vary them based on the stadium, and you can also vary them based on the metrics, like what the format is, right? So we talked about 3-on-3, we talked about 1-on-1, we talked about deck. Those are all pretty standard formats.
Hmm.
Now 3v3 1-on-1 over in Asia, deck I think is kind of a unique WBO creation here. But we mentioned Gingerbeard running the reversal tournament. That's going to be a wild event where essentially you're trying to build the worst deck possible for your opponent and then hand it to them, and then they hand you the worst deck they could think of, and we're going to see whose deck is worse. I mean, this is kind of fun. It's kind of unique. It's
Yeah,
very different.
it's gonna be a lot of
One
fun.
one of the other things that's been being pitched, and I would be willing to sample this because I don't think it's crazy outside of the I think this could be fun. People can still kind of play their whole collection, but I think it'd be interesting is bring 5, pick 3.
Okay, and
And
that's yeah.
there's a couple different ways you can do it, right? Either you bring 5 bays,
Mhm.
you and your opponent reveal the 5 bays to each other, and then privately you pick 3. And your opponent has to try to
Mm,
pick their 3 based on the 5 they saw you have and what they think you might pick, right? That's kind of cool. The other thing that I've seen that uses the exact same formatting is bring 5, and then I guess you'd call it bring 5 ban 2, where it's the same general idea. You reveal your 5 base to your opponent, and then they ban the 2 of yours they don't want to see, and you ban the 2 of theirs you don't want to see.
Honestly, I think that one's the better option because of the fact that like you bring 5 bays and having the freedom to choose to ban two that you know you're going to do bad against. Like if you bring a deck of 5 and you know shark scale is going to be a major problem, you can instantly ban that. But they can also instantly ban two of yours that they think they're not going to do well against. So I think of those two that you just mentioned, that one would be the better option.
yeah, that
I
kind of
agree.
go
I think it's the more interactive option
right.
because
Yeah.
otherwise, all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Hover Wyvern, Shark Scale, and Wizard Rod, and then 2 bays I couldn't care less about, and I'm always going to pick Hover Wyvern, Shark Scale, and Wizard Rod, right?
Right.
Like,
And that's what my thinking was: is that you'll bring the three best, and then you'll bring like two that you're like whatever. They're kind of just here to cheer me on.
Yeah, so that kind of goes off of one of mine was basically make like a certain number of bays, like maybe 10 or so, and then put those in a bag or some kind of area that you can't see, and then you just pick one at a time. So that's completely random. You could get the shark scale. It could be any random 10 that you make. So we're kind of in that same general area, I think, so there, Vile.
I think the only major difference with what you're saying is that if you're not supposed to be able to see the bays, the problem is that some players are going to know the feel of the bays so well they're
And that's
not
why
going to
your
have
opponent
to
would
see it.
pick them.
Oh, okay, but your
Uh,
opponent might know the feel of them so well that they know
yeah,
to pick you the worst ones. They're not gonna stop their hand on the shark scale, you
or
know?
had the judge pick it or do something like that
You,
or
it can be workshopped. We'll put it that way.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
100%,
I think it
absolutely.
could be fun. I think we would just need to figure out how to do it and make sure that there's integrity involved in the selection
Hmm.
process.
And I think with I'm going to say about 90, probably 95% of at least our community here in Minnesota, I think everyone would play fair game. Like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm
we
going to
don't we don't we don't have integrity issues here. Now, I always want to make sure that we do the very best we can to remove any potential for cheating.
mhm.
But in general, like I'll be honest with you, especially at my unranked events, especially this past weekend, okay, very especially this past weekend. By the time round 3, 4, 5 rolled around, if a guy came up and I'd already seen him before in the day and it didn't look like, I'd be like, bro, is your deck changed? If he tells me no, I'm like, you're good. And if he said that, yeah, it was like one change, I'm like, show me the change. And that, like it was very, very loose
Yeah,
because it was unranked. It was a fun event. I hope no one was cheating. Um, and to be fair, like our community is just so good at not being skeevy like that.
right. And I agree. So that's why I'm saying about 95, but probably that other 5% is maybe cheating that we don't see. I don't, but
I,
I just could be wrong.
I do not feel like I have ever seen someone trying to actively cheat. Now,
No.
a couple of times I have caught people with a duplicate part, but I don't believe that their intention was to cheat. I do believe that they were messing with their deck and they had they'd been like, oh, I'm going to try 960 on here. And they put a new 960 on their night mail, forgetting that it's still on their hover wyvern. Like they know, oh, yeah, I'll put 960 on my night mail. I'm going to switch to 760 on my hover. And then by the time they've got their night mail assembled, they forget to I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just incidental.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I've never seen anyone glue their ratchet. I've never seen anyone use any illegal parts. I've never seen anyone just like show me 3 bays and then try to switch one of the bays out during a match. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. And again, someone just set up in one of our chats, like, they feel completely safe leaving their Beyblade stuff unattended, which I personally don't leave all my stuff unattended, but I totally understand where they're coming from, though. It is a safe atmosphere, and
Yeah.
coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh aspect, as you guys all know, Yu-Gi-Oh players are majority scummy.
Man,
They will
that's a huge generalization, but I'll let you continue.
Hey, hey, Vile. As someone who is also a part of the Yu-Gi-Oh community, there's two type of Yu-Gi-Oh players: the ones that drink or do drugs, and then the ones who will actively steal your shit when you're not looking.
it,
So listen, I understand trading card games are like that in general. I'm not saying that Yu-Gi-Oh isn't maybe the most egregious. It likely is, to be honest. But when I would go to events, and I didn't play in a ton of TCG events, I mostly just played with my friends. I only go to events if there was like a play mat I wanted to win specifically.
Mhm.
But what I would normally do, and this speaks to what you're saying, Cake, is I would put my binder in my backpack. I'd have a little travel lock on the compartment of the backpack my binder was in, and then my backpack would have its shoulder strap put under a chair leg.
Yeah.
And that was how I never had any theft issues. But people who didn't take precautions, yeah, they would regularly have their binder would go missing, one of their decks would go missing, sometimes a whole backpack would go missing.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Yeah, like, so having a safe atmosphere is totally understandable, but yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, there are a lot of scummy players out there, and we're not saying that there aren't any scummy Beybladers out there either. But anyway, let's get back on a track about tournament stuff. So
Yes.
just random bays picking. Chad, what is one of your kind of fun little style tournaments?
Well, if I had to decide on a new tournament for us to try out in Beyblade, I was talking to someone and they came up with what I think is a clever idea, which is called color coded Beyblade, which is you pick your 3 Beyblades, but the bit and the Beyblade must match colors. Meaning, if you're going to run green wizard rod, you've got to use either the green rush or underneedle or any other green bit. If you've got Tyranno beat, you have to run one of the red bits. And it could be an interesting way to get people to try different combos with Beyblades that they already love, but without forcing, or while also forcing them to get a little creative with their stuff.
So
Like, obviously,
only
you can't run Wizard Rod and Hexa because those colors don't match. It's yellow and orange.
That's not true.
there's a gold.
No, that's also not true. I mean, there is a gold wizard rod, but I have a green wizard rod and a green hexa.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about the green hexa.
I forgot about the green Hexa
And,
too.
and and as far as we know, Ghost Circle's getting another Hasbro release, and there's no way they're releasing the standard Ghost Circle again after they already released it in a 2-pack. They're releasing it in the customized set. It's going to have to be either a Hasbro exclusive color or, more likely than not, the green TT one with the green Hexa. So
Mhm.
that one, if that's the one that's released, that's going to be sold out on Amazon for the next year, just like Tide Whale is.
Yeah.
Because that green Hexa is very appealing.
That's fair. I'm gonna sideline that one and go with the other one that I was gonna mention that I think might be interesting, which is called rock paper scissors format, where you have 3 Beyblades and you must run one full defense combo, one full attack combo, and one full stamina combo.
Hmm.
I like
Now,
that.
And I think that
I know that each blade has a stamina, attack, defense, or all around classification, but do all the bits have those and ratchets have those classifications as well?
oh yes,
Okay,
not the
and I was
ratchets,
unaware of that.
but the
So
bits. The bits do,
okay,
and
well,
that's where it
ratchets
gets.
are kind of whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, The ratchets don't matter as much as the bays and the bits themselves. I mean, obviously the ratchets do matter in the actual game, but in this sense, the ratchets are whatever. So, like, if you wanted to run like a full defense deck, you're limited to defensive or bays that were labeled defensive, like Rock Golem, Tricera Press, the Night Line, and you'd have to run it as a defense combo. Whereas, like, obviously, you could run Clock Mirage as you would any other Clock Mirage because it's a stamina Beyblade, but you couldn't run it on Underneedle. You'd have to run it on a stamina bit, something like one of the ball bits, one of the orbs,
I think
something like
Clock
that.
Mirage on low orb can be pretty solid. I've heard some positive things about that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
so
but
real quick, isn't Hover Wyvern technically a defense type? Oh, I love it. I love it. So Shark Scale, Hover Wyvern, and Wizard Rod. Oh boy.
Oh my god.
yes, but here's the thing, though.
Oh.
You wouldn't be able to run Wizard Rod on Hexa because Hexa is a defense bit. You
No,
would
and
have to run it on Ball or Orb, which
Which is
that
fine.
you can counter that so easily.
Yeah, but those are both still pretty strong. Like, listen, I agree that it will limit things a little bit, and I think it could be cool. I just, it just seems like I can still run the trifecta, you know, and I like formats that
Yes,
don't allow
but
me
they
to do
are
that.
nerfed compared to normal. Like I've tried Hover Wyvern on a defense build. It's
No.
No, I'm
it's not good.
gonna put Hover Wyvern on Hexa, brother, and it's gonna tear down the meta.
See, I ran Hover Wyvern during one of my matches on Hexa, and guess what? It didn't do good. It did really bad.
You know why, Chad? It's because you weren't doing what you suggested for your other event and color coding it. Now, if you'd had the green Hexa, okay, it would have performed totally differently.
Yeah.
You're something else. You know that?
I like to have fun. Cake, if
Alright,
I want to
do. Oh,
go ahead. No, you go. You go. You're
Check
good,
out.
brother.
I was gonna say there's another idea that someone mentioned that at first I was like, no, that's a dumb idea, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That would make for an interesting simple ratchet tournament. You run your typical deck combos, but you're only allowed to use simple ratchet combos, meaning you can't build a nonsensical Beyblade that is unable to burst.
Okay, so
You
I've
say
got
that you say that, Cake, but think about it.
I don't
You could do some
wanna.
interesting stuff with a simple ratchet tournament, especially if you're sick of seeing the meta, because now every Beyblade has the chance to burst on contact.
Yeah, I
so
guess you're not
you can't
wrong.
run anything. Exactly.
Oh, man.
so I'm gonna piggyback or use Chad's idea as like a jumping off point. How about an 80 series ratchet only tournament?
Huh.
Because 80 series ratchets are
Almost-
just pooped on constantly. We all agree that 60s are best. There are a couple 70s that are playable. Nobody runs 80 series ratchets ever for anything.
Correct.
So I'd love to see everybody have to run 80 series ratchets for an event. Now I would probably actually run something like that, but it's fun to think about in theory.
Well, let me
Yeah.
piggyback off your piggyback and just one style only. So either attack only tournaments, stamina, defense, any of those only. So if you're
Now, are you saying the whole tournament would only allow stamina bays, or are you saying that you can run any bays you want, but they all have to be the same type? Because those are two very different things.
either the tournament in full is a stamina only tournament or in an attack only tournament, or even I just came up with this. Each round is like if there's 4 rounds. So first round is attack only. Second round is defense only. And then so on and so forth.
So that's kind of neat. I know if you leave it up to I know if you make a stamina only tournament, or you tell the players that your team has to be all of one type, what we're gonna see all day is Silver Wolf, Wizard Rod, Clock Mirage, all day from a lot of the top players.
but it's
which could get boring.
only like attack parts only for the attack portion, or defense parts only for the defense part. So
That might balance out a
so
little
if
bit.
you're
I mean, if I can't put my rod on Hexa, that would make me sad, I suppose.
right, so obviously you can run Wizard Rod on Rush for an attack because it could be. So only have like the bits be only like attack wise, or defense wise, or stamina, or whatever.
You know what I want to do. This is gonna be my signature event, okay? And this is something I gotta give credit where credit's due. I believe Gingerbeard had mentioned something like this to me, and then I had taken it to Acuna, and we had kind of talked more about it. But I want to see, and what I probably will run the next time I want to do a super fun event. What we're gonna see is the 8 stadium event. All right, so. As we know right now, we talked about earlier, there's 8 different stadiums that are out at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'd do is you'd get your match called up, okay? And then you get to ban 1 stadium, your opponent gets to ban 1 stadium, and then you roll a D6, and that determines which of the other 6 stadiums you're going to use that round.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. It'd be crazy. I get to see how people feel about actually playing in the Bucket Stadium, which I know is the most exciting and riveting stadium to ever exist in the world of Beyblade X.
Off rip. I am banning that stadium off rip every fucking round. No.
Yeah, I think
so you guys heard it here first. Don't build a deck that's supposed to excel in the Bucket Stadium, because when you run into Chad and Cake, they're not going to let you play in it.
Yeah, I think the 2 that are instantly going to get banned are probably the wide, so the 3-person one, and the Bucket Stadium. Those 3 or those 2 are probably instantly going to get banned right off a rip, unless they just want to have some fun. I don't know.
I disagree. Stamina-based decks will want to play on the 3-player stadium.
Fair.
Because the contact is much less guaranteed in that stadium.
Yeah.
So I think if you were playing, like we talked about, like a Clock Mirage, Silver Wolf, Wizard Rod type of deck, you definitely want to play on that stadium as much as possible.
Yeah. I've only played on the stadium maybe once, and that was like 6 months ago. Or actually more than, probably like 8 months ago. It was really cool. It was so different, but it kind of gives like almost the same vibe as an Infinity Stadium.
You know, something that I'd spitballed with Acuna a little bit when we were on a call was actually running a 3-player tournament event, and not like a team event, but an event in the 3-player stadium, where instead of having a match against one other person, your match was against 2 other people. Kind of like they do in the anime. In the anime, they have 3 people.
Yep.
Now, when Acuna and I were talking through it, one thing I said that would be disadvantageous about this format, and the reason I will likely never do it, is when you're running a tournament or any type of event where people win and lose, you want to try to keep the winning and the losing at a 50% ratio. So how we play Beyblade now is me and Chad play. Chad wins, I lose. Then you and Martine play. You win, Martine loses. It's all 50-50, right? At least during Swiss. The problem with a 3-player event is what you have is you have a 67% loss rate and only a 33% win rate. So that means more players are losing more matches, because even though you have 3 players in the match, only one person can win, right? The other 2 people lose.
Yeah.
So it would be a little
There's
tough.
more than just that too, though, that we're not even thinking about, which is the horrible possibility, but definitely a possibility, that if 3 people go to the stadium, 2 of them are friends and one of them isn't, the 2 friends non-verbally agree to do the best to get the other guy knocked out as quickly as possible.
So there could be some of that, and in fact, we actually saw that in the anime, right? That was actually a thing where the big hefty guy on Team Yggdrasil or whatever was talking to the little chick on Team Lion or whatever they're called, and they agreed to like very subtly talking about like a donut or something, agreed to go after one of the members of
Oh,
Team Persona. You
yeah,
know
I
what I'm
remember
talking about
that.
now? Yeah. And so Chad's not entirely wrong. Now, that's a little different because in the anime, you know, they have spirit bays coming out and they can kind of it's kind of like they can control their base to an extent. I do hear what Chad is saying. With that being said, I think actually trying to target and tag team a person in real life in a 3-player stadium is not as easy as is being, you know, as people might think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm not talking about like. I'm talking about when it comes to the launch stage. Like both opponents could uh, actively choose to launch their base in a way that makes sure the third person doesn't get any sort of an advantageous launch and just gets locked out of like even hitting the X rail if they've got like an attack bay.
Well, so luckily, the 3-player stadium actually has little arrows indicating where players should be launching. And as a judge for an event like that, you'd have to be more on top of launch positions than ever because now you have 3 people trying to launch into a stadium instead of just 2. I would probably be very strict about you need to stay where your arrow is. You know, I don't want to see any screwing around. Just go to your
Shenanigans.
arrow and that's where you launch from. And everyone does that. Like, end of story.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be cool. They do it in the anime, and it seems like a lot of fun. It's very chaotic, and I think it'd be fun. But again, I don't like the fact that there's 2 losers and 1 winner out of every match.
So the winner would, same just like the anime, the winner would get all the points scored during that battle, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, so now we could argue that if we didn't want to see it be a very firm, like 67% loss, 33% win rate, what you could do is you could choose to do scoring differently and let and at the end of each round the winner, quote unquote, is the person who had the most points. But if everybody gets to keep their points and you choose top cut based on total points throughout the rounds, that could also be interesting.
Hmm.
A lot of work, but just an alternative scoring method to think about. So even if you don't, you know, get or even if you're not the first to 5, that doesn't mean you get nothing. You
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting, and then you'd have the different strategies where maybe you don't play as aggressive, and all you're trying to do each round is score like 3 points because you feel like that will be enough if you do it every time to get, you know. So maybe you play more conservatively. There is some strategy to that, you know. So it could be interesting.
So what stadium would you like that to be played on? Either the Infinity or the 3-person? Because obviously, definitely you
The
couldn't do it
3-person.
3-person. Yeah, because definitely you couldn't do it
Yeah.
in the bucket.
No, it would have to be 3-person, and the reason for that is the 3-person stadium has a larger launching window
It does.
at the top of the stadium, and it does very clearly indicate where each player is supposed to launch from.
Oh,
There's
does it?
yes, there are little
Okay.
arrows that say launch, and there are 3 of them. So
Oh.
players can't argue with me and tell me, well, I should be able to launch while I'm humping one of my opponent. No, you can't. Stay at your arrow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whoa. It's not that kind of event.
not literally humping. You know what I mean, though. Like.
Hey, appreciate that clickbait.
Right. Hey, that's gonna be a TikTok clip, isn't it?
Oh, I just clipped it. Yeah, you good.
Now, tell me where on the doll here did the Beyblader hump you?
Oh my god. He touched the string on my string launcher, Chad.
No.
Anyway, let's get back to not humping people at Beyblade tournaments because we do not condone humping other players at Beyblade X tournaments here on the Spin Zone podcast.
I
No,
see
no,
you out
no
there.
unwanted.
If I find anyone in Minnesota doing some weird shit like that, we will come after you.
Yeah, no unwanted touching at Beyblade.
Please no.
Yeah.
We have enough of that in the Super Smash Brothers community.
Hey.
No comment. No comment. I'm gonna be a responsible adult here on that one.
I don't want to. I didn't sign up for this shit. Anyway, Chad,
Yes, you did. You actively did.
To be an adult? No, I didn't sign up for this shit.
Oh. Fair enough.
Anyway, Chad, is there any other tournament that you can think of?
I mean, I have an idea to spice up tournaments that could be really fun, which is called the Magical Hat Tournament.
Like the
Sounds
Yu-Gi-Oh
weird, but
card?
hear me out. Yes, almost. So here's my thought process. You get your deck, you go to the stadium, and then I mean, you don't have to have an actual hat there, but some kind of container containing scraps of paper of five things that five positive changes you can make to your deck and five negative debuffs or negative effects that affect you during the launch. So, for instance, one of the piece of papers say you must launch with the proto launcher, or you can add an extra Beyblade to your deck.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, it seems
Yeah.
interesting. I feel like it could be too confusing.
I mean, obviously, you'd go over what the pieces of paper say, and then raffle them up, and then when people go to their stations, the judge draws out one for each player, hands it over to them, and then they've got to do whatever the piece of paper says. Whether they have to change their launchers, change the way they hold their launchers, change out a
Okay.
Beyblade part for
Okay.
something else.
Yeah, I
You
think
you
I'm.
you see, you see, you see what I'm cooking. You see what I'm cooking.
Yeah.
So
So instead of just the normal 3v3 and how you normally do it, it's just different ways to kind of spice up that match.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I have so the concept seems unique, right? And I think it'd be totally fine. I do think you'd have to be careful when it comes to refining what the pieces of paper are going to say exactly, because
Yeah,
you talked about two different things that I would personally take issue with, and the first is the changing your launcher and changing how you hold your launcher. And the reason for that, Chad, is, for instance, you have a good friend who plays Beyblade who has some back issues, and
yeah.
he may not be able to change how he holds his launcher without screwing up his back. You understand? There could be a risk of injury there. Um, and same with changing out the launcher specifically. Maybe the winder launcher works better for him because the string launcher is a different movement, and maybe that hurt. I don't think you can force players to change their how they're holding their launcher or the
I
launcher
was
itself,
just
because I do think you create an injury risk.
Yeah, no, I was just giving those as like an example of like,
Oh,
all
okay.
right, you step up to the stadium and you draw a piece of paper, and it's either going to have something that's going to positively affect your Beyblade, or it's going to like negatively impact it, but in a way that like is fair for everyone still, but it spices things up a little bit because it's like you have a chance of either getting something good or getting something bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like one of them could be. I just thought about this. Like launching while facing the other way. So you got to launch behind your back.
Okay, but again, some players are not going to be able to do that.
Right, and then obviously then they just redraw and hopefully get
But I- but
something
I but
that
Yeah.
I but then I don't think you can't even have that in there then, because you can't say, oh well, these players obviously, maybe they're bigger and they just can't reach behind their back to launch like that, so they're exempt from that, but everyone else isn't. Like, that's not right either. You have to create a set of changes that are not going to disqualify anyone from being
yeah,
able to do them.
right,
Like,
and obviously
swap out the ratchet on one of your bays, or add a
Yeah,
fourth
that's
bay to
that's
your
what I
yeah,
was going to
yeah,
give
see,
as an
so there you
example
go.
is like a negative debuff is you must change bits between two of the Beyblades that you brought that you're using in your deck.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just think, and I think that's great. I think what we don't want to do is anything that changes how a player launches, because that could be unsafe for certain players.
Yeah. Yeah, so I understand where Chad's head's at, which is really weird to say
Yeah.
because I never really know what Chad's talking about or going on
You
about.
never understand where Chad's head's at.
No,
That's
I
terrible.
no, it's true. But with this incident, yeah, I do understand. Just kind of a different way to spice up a match. Obviously,
Yeah, and I want to
Yeah.
be
within
and I
reason.
want to be clear. I think it's a cool idea, and I respect Chad like coming up with it. And I do think you could do something like that. I am just very much like if I see a problem, I say, hey, I think that part's gonna be a problem. I think
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
definitely refine the piece of the paper and the hat to only be things that are safe for all bladers. I think
Yeah,
that just
absolutely.
requires talking about it like we have been doing.
Yeah. If we want to go for another actual like format, obviously one that could be really fun, especially considering the format that we're in, the stadiums that we're in, gear format, meaning you can only use gear bits.
Oh boy.
I mean, if we're gonna have the X rails, and especially with the new Xfinity Stadium where they really like to hit those X rails, why not have a tournament that takes advantage of that? So gear ball, gear needle, gear flat, gear point. As long as it's a gear bit, you can use it, and those things are going to be hitting the rails a lot. It's going to cause a lot of like really fun, very not boring moments. Let's be honest; those gear bits love to hit the rails very often, and it gives people an opportunity to like use a more aggressive stamina build rather
Mhm.
than like a passive stamina build.
Right.
So it could also make tournaments a lot more fun for everyone, especially since, let's be honest, how many of us here have gear bits that are just sitting in our chests or sitting somewhere just collecting dust because they never get used?
I know mine are collecting dust. I don't even know what a gear bit looks like.
Gear ball.
Hell, I've got an example right here. Here's gear needle.
Gear needle.
Oh, that's the one that comes on the big lion one?
Yes, and another great example would be this is gear flat, which
Oh, yeah,
comes on
I
drum
hate that
sword.
bit.
So So what it is, it's all the bits that are specifically designed in tandem with the X rails. So these are supposed to hit the X rails more often than regular bits.
Isn't gear flat what also comes on the red metal coat Phoenix?
They come.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many of those sitting in my box doing absolutely nothing, and they'll
yeah,
never do anything.
exactly. But there's also gear ball. Again, there's gear point, which comes on. I think it's like Sting Unicorn, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of gears
There's a bunch of gear bits.
that come on just uh, any random pack that you can get. So yeah. So
Exactly.
I kind of like
And
that.
that's easy. That's going to be easy to regulate because, I mean, you can only use a bit that has the word gear in it. So if it's not a gear bit, like someone could be like, "Oh, but elevate has the gear." No, it doesn't say gear elevate. It's just elevate. Go with a gear bit. And it also allows people to use their favorite Beyblades without having to worry about, am I about to run into Wizard Rod 160 Hexa? Am I going to run into Shark Scale 450 under or Low Rush or anything like that? Because those are probably not going to be as good considering the gear bits are also a bit taller.
Yeah. So there are only 4 gear parts. So there's gear flat. There's gear ball. Gear point. And then gear needle.
Yep.
So
So my only concern is that would feel, I think, to some players a little restrictive to only allow them to use 4 different bits. Like, so, and the reason I say that isn't because I'm just spitballing. Like, you guys know, recently I did a poll asking people what type of like fun events they'd like to see.
mhm.
Actually, the winner was a CX only event. Okay,
Oh,
Yeah,
that was the
see,
one in
there's
the
another
poll.
one.
But what I will tell you happened is, even though that was the winning vote of the poll, now by a slim margin, but it did get the most votes. What then happened was everybody I talked to who did not vote for it said they would not come to that event.
Hmm.
So
Well,
when you get what I'm trying to get at is, I think when you get too restrictive, you do wind up pushing out a fair amount of players from being interested.
well, that again, that's the thing is normally like with the CX only, obviously not everyone has a CX Beyblade, so of course not everyone's going to want to sign up for it. But I think the gear has the best chance of being restrictive because those things are everywhere. everyone has a bunch of them just sitting around doing nothing in their box. So as if they know how to build a combo with the regular version, they just got to build a version with the gear bit in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that gives people the creative use to still use whatever Beyblades they want, but because it restricts the bits to the gear bits, it gives everyone a chance instead of just the people who shilled out a bunch of money for like their shark scales and their wizard rods.
I mean, I kind of understand what you're getting at, and I feel like there's a way to do that without being quite as restrictive. Now, I'm not sure, what that is, and that would probably be a further discussion. But it's interesting you talk about this because it reminds me of the cultural differences between us here in the U.S. and people elsewhere in the world. I don't know how often you guys buy product from Asia, for instance, but if you buy someone's Beyblade collection from Asia, it's actually more common than not that they have refined their collection to not have crappy bits and ratchets. It's a very interesting cultural difference. Here in America, people just tend to go out and buy the Beyblades. Yeah, there's a few sites that you can buy individual parts, but largely they're pretty pricey and it's kind of counterproductive. In Asia, you can walk into a lot of secondhand stores, a lot of stores that specialize more in Beyblades, and you can buy individual bits, individual ratchets, individual blades. You can go on Mercari, and there's always just tons and tons of people selling only the blade, only the ratchet, only the bit. And curated collections of higher tier players tend to only have competitive pieces. They will have 6 low rushes and not a single gear anything,
Well, I think that's where we have the advantage for this to test this out at least, is because obviously I've been to quite a few of the tournaments. You guys have as well. And specifically, I've gotten to see a lot of the big collections that people are bringing, and I've yet to run into anyone that has a even decent sized collection of Beyblades here in Minnesota that doesn't have a at least a couple gear bits in their box, just sitting there again, collecting dust, never to see the light of day again.
Well, listen, I don't disagree with you. I wasn't trying to say that, here in the U.S. people do it too. In fact, I even said people in the U.S. don't really curate their collections that way generally.
Yeah. Which is why I'm saying
I was just taking the moment.
Absolutely. Try it.
I was just pointing out, I was taking the moment to point out an interesting cultural difference between us and, say, Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Let's see. What's another fun thing we could do with the bait?
If you don't know, I got one.
Go ahead while I curate a thought.
Okay. So I got one is going to be completely different, but everyone just picks one bay. So it could be the Shark Scale 960 low orb. Just for instance, I'm just throwing bits and parts out there. That's going to be your one bay for the whole day.
Oh, so like anime rules where it's like, this is my Beyblade and I have to use this Beyblade throughout the entire thing. So like, if you're running this version of Cobalt, you're only allowed to run this Cobalt throughout the whole tournament. Okay.
Yep. And then it's just a random, each round it's maybe that won't work. Yeah, never mind. That part won't work. Okay, never mind. It was good in theory, but then towards the end, it wouldn't really work out for like topping or anything. It's just a
why not?
You get put into a random team every round. So for instance,
that would get complicated.
Yeah, well, if there's no like top cut involved, and just for like a fun little local kind of thing, it'd be interesting. But yeah, I didn't think about afterwards for the top cut. It definitely would not work out. But what could work out is stock combos only.
I think Sam's been talking about that. Sam's been talking about that.
Oh, has he? Okay.
A lot.
No, but I mean, you can touch on it for the viewers who have no idea what's going on.
So stock combos are, and obviously you don't got to go right to Walmart or Target and get a brand new bay right out of package.
Oh, we're not using B4 rules?
No, we're not going right. We're not buying any of those.
Besides Vile, if they're gonna buy Beyblades anywhere, they should go to Beybladepodcast today.
But no, even if you have the parts, I personally would consider that as a stock combo.
Okay.
So Samurai Saber, and I think it was like 260 level. If I'm not
Yeah, that sounds
mistaken.
right.
Is that what it came on?
It's two something level. I think 60 is right, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know it's Samurai on level, and I swear it was 2 something. But anyway, so
270.
yeah, 270. So that's gonna be one of your bays, and then Wizard Rod. What is it? 360 ball or disc ball or whatever.
560 disc ball.
5 is it 5? I thought it was 3. Or am I thinking the green one? No,
I'm using the green one. The green one's 160.
160. Yeah. I don't. There's so many bays.
Listen, I still have my yellow 5 from when I had the 560 disc ball. It is 5.
But yeah, it's stock combo only bays. So anything that you would buy right out of the package, that is the combo that you use all day.
I don't hate it, but there's already going to be 2 bays that are going to be the standouts for that tournament, and you can already guess what one of them's going to be.
Yeah, Wizard Rod 160 Rush.
Of course, Shark Scale already comes with a great. That was going to be the other one. Yes, Shark Scale already comes with an absolutely busted combo.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern, and
obviously,
the fact that besides those, everything else is kind of. I mean, Golem Rock 160 Underneedle is good as a stock combo, but
that's what makes these fun tournaments different. It's not just a normal 3v3 or deck format or whatever that everyone puts together the best parts and then shoots and then calls it a day. Like, we're actually thinking about different ways, which there's no perfect tournament out there that's going to be equaled right down the center or anything else like that. There's going to be flaws regardless of really anything that we talk about.
I mean, that's fair. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So guys, we've talked a lot about these different tournament formats. I kind of want to talk about some of the upcoming releases and the things that have come out recently and some of the news.
I was going to say, I think we've talked about quite a lot of decent tournaments, but yes, I especially need to point out the fact that I hope he's listening to the podcast out there. Mr. Meteor Dragoon is going to be so bad because of the extra little bit of rubber. You were wrong. You owe me $5.
Whoa.
Chad just calling somebody out right here live on video.
Dude.
No, but I won't mention their name because they'll probably feel a little embarrassed now. But there were a few people who were very, very much on the side of well, because it's rubber, it's going to probably act like Impact Drake. And it's like, no, the problem with Impact Drake is it has the rubber, but it's in an environment with right spinning Beyblades while it's also spinning right, which is why it's terrible. Meteor Dragoon, on the other hand, from the video that I watched from the actual Beyblade official source, that thing hits as hard as Impact Dragoon, or as hard as Impact Drake, but has the spin stealing capabilities of Cobalt Dragoon. I'm sorry. Wizard Rod, your time in the sun was fun and all that, but we finally found the Beyblade that may finally knock you out of the meta, at least to the point of being like in the same tier as Silverwolf, because Wizard Rod is not going to be surviving something that hits like Impact Drake but spin steals like Dragoon. I don't see that happening.
Yep, so Meteor Dragoon is a new release that is up for pre-order right now with free shipping at beybladebricks.com when you use code SPINZONE. It does come with 370 J. Is that Oh, Jolt. Jolt. I thought it was just,
Jolt.
but yeah, Jolt. Which it basically looks like Accelerate, but with just a little tip at the end of it.
So the Jolt bit looks weird to a lot of Beyblade X players, but to anyone who knows Metal Fight, we know exactly what it's trying to emulate. And what the Excel bit is, or what the Jolt bit is trying to emulate, if I do not have mine. Meteor or Medio El Drago came with a bit called. It was basically like a flat tip, but it was hollow on the inside, and that made it very aggressive as well as getting really good capabilities for spin stealing.
Mm.
Hmm.
And the 3-bit is a reference to the fact that El Drago Medio had a bit that had a little ratchet which had 3 wings that were tilted in a way to give it even more advantage of like aerodynamics and stamina.
Yeah.
So
Like-
It is
listen,
such a good.
I
it's such a
gotta
good
be, I gotta
Beyblade.
be clear with you guys. I already thought Meteor Dragoon was gonna be a must buy, simply because it's a left spin bay. People like something different, even if it wasn't the best bay on the planet. People were still gonna buy it because it's a new left spin bay.
Mhm.
The other reason I thought it was kind of a must buy is that, especially for us here in the West, most Western players right now do not have a ripcord L launcher. They just don't. So the fact that this one comes with one, I think, made it kind of a must buy for most Western players to begin with.
Yep.
You add in the fact there's a left spin bay.
Absolutely.
Now you add in the fact that it seems like this left spin bay is actually pretty solid. I think everyone's gonna be buying one of these. I think you're gonna look like a scrub if you don't have one. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great new release. I think it's exciting. I really like how the bay looks. It's a beautiful bay. The metal coat is lovely. I'm really excited for this one. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely in the, like, I think everyone needs to buy this release camp.
Yep, me too. And I agree. Having that
1000%.
left winder launcher and the ripcord is not. It's not your normal ripcord either.
Yeah, the ripcord looks sick.
Yeah, it looks like a bat with actual grip for your fingers, which looks absolutely phenomenal. Especially the white with the purple. It goes with the bay itself. So I'm actually gonna probably have to buy myself one of those.
Probably.
Oh yeah, you're right. I will.
So,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Cake's not screen sharing right now, but if he was, you'd see that he's on Basin Bricks ordering it as we speak. So
Actually, I am on Basin
That
Bricks
wouldn't
and looking
surprise
at it
me.
right now.
that's so funny. I love it.
But it's funny you guys should mention that the launcher as well, because fun fact, again, the launcher is 100% in style with the original Medio El Drago.
Mhm.
It did come with that goofy launcher, which we all loved that launcher. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful ripcord launcher for the time. Obviously, they are terrible now, but no, it's such a. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I was already hyped up for this Beyblade, but now more than ever to see our beautiful king back in action after all these years, it's just so good. And again, the biggest complaint I heard from a lot of people was they weren't so sure about the fact that if you do look at one of the 3 heads, it has like a huge amount of like rubber on the end of it. But again, that is just to give it a little bit of extra attack power, kind of like how Impact Drake has a lot of hit potential on that rubber. It's just to do that as well as make it into the legendary Beyblade we all missed, good old Medio El Drago here.
Yeah, then we got a nasty Beyblade X reprint of that, which is garbage.
No, you're thinking
Yeah.
of Lightning El Drago.
Yeah, that's a Lightning El Drago,
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Yeah,
And-
see, Lightning El Drago was this one, and that's the one that came before and is still considered a really good attack Beyblade. In all due respects, it is still like it. To give those who don't know anything about Metal Fight an idea, Lightning El Drago was the drawn buster of that series. Like, if anything was going to hit low, it was that Beyblade.
Mm.
But I did actually find all the pieces to my Meteor, so I can even, hopefully the camera will show there. You can even see it's got a flat tip that is very reminiscent to that jolt bit that we're getting, as well as the 3 wings that I was talking about on the ratchet there.
Very cool. So I normally don't take questions off of chat, but this one is kind of weird because I didn't know that. The question is a left spin Hell's Hammer legal in tournaments?
No, I know what they're talking about, and
I didn't know Hell's Hammer had a left spin.
So to explain this to you, Cake, since I actually do have Hell's Hammer here, obviously, as you know, the way Beyblades work is they are supposed to lock into the launcher that they
Correct.
work with. So,
Yes.
like, here's my copy right here. That's the left or the right one. It locks in like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is the red parts here have a gap. So technically, you can do this.
Whoa.
Yeah, Micah was talking about that on the Discord earlier.
Whoa.
Yes. And it actually goes right, it actually kind of goes right into where these little metal teeth are. Now, the problem that a lot of people haven't been realizing until it's too late is you have a great chance of breaking this Beyblade launching it that way, because obviously it's not meant to launch that way. And people are basically forcing it onto a launcher that it wasn't built for, and they're breaking their Hell's Hammers as a result of that. But the reason people are liking it is because obviously the way Hell's Hammer is shaped, yeah, if that thing starts spinning left instead of right, you are getting a huge smash attack potential out of this rather than this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool in theory. Obviously, it's not allowed in sanctioned events.
No.
We were talking about this on the Discord the other day. I do think there is a future in Beyblade X in which we see dual spin bays. And I think that's actually a really good gimmick to add to Beyblades that might otherwise be a little underwhelming, because like, oh, this Beyblade's not going to be great. It's not going to be meta defining. But if the player could choose on the spot which way they want to launch it, that gives it certain advantages, right?
And they kind of did that
Exactly.
kind of like that kind of gimmick with Soul Eclipse. You got several different bays all in one, but having a different spin is definitely going to change the whole game. So I can see potential that way.
It's really funny how concerned people were with how switching the modes or the side or whatever is going to work for Soul Eclipse and events, and then Soul Eclipse just didn't wind up being meta defining in any way, shape, or form, so it hasn't really come up. Like,
oh no, you're telling me a CX blade isn't meta defining unless it's really, really chunky? I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, right. Like, lies and slander, huh?
Wow.
So
exactly,
guys,
but
go ahead.
What I was going to mention is it's funny that you guys talk about the dual spin, because besides the plastic gen, which I don't know, each other generation has had at least one dual spinning Beyblade. I'm pretty sure Burst had one, but weirdly enough, Metal Fight did, and its name was Gravity Perseus. Hey, don't we have a Perseus Beyblade in X that no one uses because it's really awful?
Yeah, and the only good thing about Perseus is it came with Wedge.
Exactly, and it's like, which is the craziest part, because ask anyone in the Metal Fight scene, the metal wheel and the plastic energy disc from Perseus are the most widely used parts in the meta for both limited, and sometimes you can see it in unlimited, but mostly limited, because of the fact that it is a beautiful, like, triangular shaped Beyblade that can spin left and it can spin right. So if someone's, if someone comes in with their, I don't know, their a meta combo for Meteor El Drago and is like, oh man, I can't wait to spin steel from a Beyblade, they can say, hey, I'm going to launch to the left. And obviously the way the rules would work is you would mention which way you're going to shoot Perseus before you launch. Yep. So that way you can't, like, last second change things.
Yeah.
But that's how they would counter those Beyblades. And I mean, again, during our initial run for the metal fight scene here in Minnesota, when it was me, Akuna, and like not even 10 other people, like less than 10 people, all going to like free events, just fun little get-togethers. That Beyblade was the most used part, to the point we had to put a soft ban on it here in
Oh.
Minnesota for the rest of our get-togethers.
Oh.
It was that ridiculously good.
Anyway, so going off of that, let's kind of get back to products. There
Yeah.
is,
So
yeah,
we have
the
a
random
couple
booster.
other things. Well, we'll talk about let's talk about the easy shit first.
Yes, let's
So-
talk about the Mummy.
Well, no,
Well,
we're gonna get to the random booster. Let's talk about the easier. See, you guys don't even know about this release I'm about to say.
What,
So,
Purple Wyvern?
no, we all know about Purple. That's been out. So this isn't really a new release, but it is a repackaging. As some of you know, previously in the 25th anniversary set, there was a Beyblade called Dragoon Storm 460 RA, and you could only get that previously in the anniversary set. However, now you can buy it as a standalone Beyblade. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys have noticed that.
Yep, I was getting there. That's also
Okay.
That's ready for pre-order at basinbricks.com.
Yes, it is. Okay, now we can talk about
7%
the
off.
Mummy, because the Mummy
Yeah.
requires a little more discussion.
Well, what's
Yes,
RA?
the Mummy requires a lot of discussion, because who in their right mind decided in this setting, with these Beyblades going at Mach speeds, to have a little plastic tab pop out of your Beyblade and go, hey, that's totally not going to break off and become a projectile weapon that like stabs your opponent?
I don't know. I kind of actually want to go back to Dragoon Storm because I'm just taking a look at it and it's a fucking square.
You've never seen Dragoon Storm before?
Hey,
No,
okay,
dude,
look
this
at
is
me.
a square.
It's hip to be square. It's hip to be square.
Okay, I do like me caliber.
Just join this. Listen, Team Square has some heavy hitters.
Oh my god.
So is RA Rush Accelerate or what's RA?
Rubber
Accelerate.
Rubber
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So if you guys need
Everyone's
a Rubber Accelerate,
favorite
there
bit
you
to
go.
clown on.
So having thin metal around the bay, it looks nice. I'm not gonna lie, it looks nice. 460, decent ratch. Rubber Accelerate.
I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When you have a square Beyblade, the thing that works best with the square Beyblade is having the 4, because it just matches the square perfectly.
Yeah. Like, it literally looks like a pizza box. Like,
so, should I put Little Caesars or Domino's on mine if I get one?
Honestly, I'd put a little Little Caesars hot and ready pizza logo up on that and let's call it a day. But that's cool. 460 Rubber Accelerate on Dragoon. Damn. I don't know if I need it for that bad, but that's cool. That's very cool.
It's neat, and it's a good opportunity for people who couldn't justify spending on the whole anniversary set. If they just want to get like a Rubber Excel real quick or something, they can do that this way. 460, it's not the best ratchet, but it's decent. It's a 60 series, so that's pretty cool. This Mummy thing though, this is the wildest thing, bro. Like, the Mummy Beyblade looks really cool, and I want it to be good. It seems to have a decent weight to it. I don't exactly know how I feel about it. What are your guys' thoughts?
I do like the design. What does it look like?
I mean, I don't. I'm staring at it right now.
Exactly what it looks like. I'm just waiting for someone to say it.
I have not a clue. I'm blanking.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Specifically, I'm looking at the blue and yellow or blue and gold variant. It looks like it's sticking its tongue out at me at the bottom.
That's because of the little plastic tab that pops in and out. But someone mentioned it to me, and I didn't want to see it at first, but now I can kind of see it. It kind of, I'm getting very outdoors porta potty vibes from it.
You're gonna have to explain that one a little more in depth, brother.
Please do.
I want to hear. I want to hear about the Porta John vibes. Now we're starting to sound like a Mall of Toys ad. Okay.
No, Bays and Bricks ad.
Porta John. Oh goodness.
Yeah,
But
please
no,
explain.
like just looking at it from like a slightly angled look, it's very obviously it's very round unless you're looking at it straight from the top. It looks like one of those one of those porta potty things that are yeah, like a porta potty that you'd sit on in like Red Dead Redemption when you're like outside. What were those? No, what was the thing that I'm thinking of called? It's not a porta potty. The metal canister for dispensing excrement back when they didn't have like heated houses. There was a specific device that homes had that was like a metal bucket that you would go to the bathroom in and then you dump it outside. I cannot remember it for the life of me, but someone
I mean,
mentioned
I know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know exactly
yeah.
what the name is for that, but it sounds gross, and I don't want to think about that in conjunction with my Beyblade. To be totally honest, like that's nasty.
Hey, listen. You say that, but look at the color of the ratchet and tell me otherwise. That is the nastiest shade of brown I've ever seen for any ratchet in the history of Beyblade.
Either way.
Especially the one that comes on the gold and blue one.
So
I do not want to think about that.
So you could buy the whole complete porta potty set. I guess Chad's gonna start calling it.
The porta potty set. I'm done.
Booster Volume 8, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 of them. Oh, it says it right there. Volume 6 for $115 plus free shipping. So 6 bays for $115.
Where are you seeing this?
Baysandbricks.com.
I am looking there. I do not see what you're talking about. That's why I was asking.
It's the...
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, the full set.
It is. Yeah, it wasn't on the main page for some reason.
So the prize bay is Mummy Curse 755 wedge. And then there's also Mummy Curse 460 Cyclone. And then there's Pegasus Brush.
Chamber Pot. That's what I was thinking of. That's the name of it.
Welcome back, Chad.
Welcome back to the new episode of Chad's Chamber Pot.
Oh my goodness. Anyway.
Mummy's Chamber Pot looks like such a great Beyblade.
You're a chamber pot. Anyway, Pegasus Brush M385 wedge.
Ooh.
So that's
I have some opinions on that. And by opinions on that, I mean, I don't care about the Fox Brush blade. The Pegasus lock chip, while looking cool, is not a functional part exactly.
No.
I do like that we're getting a different... What color is the wedge on this one?
That is a good question.
Because right now we have the black wedge from Dark Perseus and then the white wedge from the Dark Perseus White Edition that came only with the Takara Tomy Stadium set.
So I'm
what color
guessing
is
maybe like it's that like Pegasus blue that's on it, like a aqua blue.
It's probably gonna be blue.
I'd like that.
Yeah. Or I can also kind of see white to kind of go with the aqua blue going on.
Then how have they managed to give us another Dran Brave? Like, yes, I understand the Soul Eclipse chip is on there. Yes, that Soul Eclipse chip actually looks super baller. But like,
yeah. Soul Brave on C9 70 TP.
What assist blade is C? I don't even know off the top of my head.
Probably. I don't know.
Circle.
Oh, yes. And what's TP?
Toilet paper.
Okay.
Chad cannot get over this bathroom thing, can he?
Oh my god. Chad, you're fired, dude. Jesus Christ.
Nuh-uh.
Anyway, and then we got Dran Dagger on 755 gear. Or G.
Yeah, I don't... What is with all these 5 series? Why are there 3 5 series ratchets in this thing? This makes me very upset, actually.
I'm only
For people who want 5 ratchets, I guess.
no. There's
The most beloved ratchet in Beyblade, because it's definitely not the 9 series or anything like that. Who would like using a 9 series ratchet?
I think
Okay, I guess when I say 5 series, I should be more specific. What I actually mean is simple ratchets.
there's
There's a
only two.
55, an 85, and another 55. Like
Oh
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
anyone was looking for that.
yep,
Like
Uh,
that's too many simple ratchets.
yep.
And especially on like Drawn Dagger, like already out of all these bays, Drawn Dagger is by far my least favorite one to get. Okay. Yes, I love the purple, but Drawn Dagger is just it's not a competitive bay. It was never really a competitive bay. And now they're pissing me off even more by giving me shitty parts on it. Like I am not a fan of the Drawn Dagger at all.
it happens, unfortunately.
No, it's terrible. It's objectively the worst random booster bay they've ever launched. They give me a bay that sucks on a simple ratchet that sucks with a bit that also sucks. Like
Oh,
anyone who
glide.
pulls that out of a random booster is gonna go seppuku themselves in the fucking chamber pot. Okay, like
Yeah, so 755 glide. That's what it comes on. So it's different.
Glide. Yo, hey, listen. As I've learned recently from Mr. Cake here, Glide might be an underrated bit, actually.
Hey, I like my glide. It still got some work to do.
No, that's
And
what I'm saying. What was it that you put it on? Wasn't it Saber?
yeah, Samurai Saber on I think 360 glide, which it works.
It
Chad, if
was
you're not
working a little
Chad,
too well.
if you're not careful, I'm gonna underrate your okay.
Hey.
Um,
Anyway, we got Wise Tiger also on 480 low rush. So that might be a red low rush, which
it probably is.
Ooh.
And this
Give me a red low rush.
so
I dare
first
ya.
off,
or
Weiss Tiger, not a great bay, but kind of like the Dran Dagger, also not a great bay. I do like the Dran Dagger being purple. I love this red motif for the Weiss Tiger. If you're a Weiss Tiger fan and you like collecting, this is a beautiful bay to own. 480 sucks some hot, you know what? So that's
hot
something to
chamber
write home
pot.
about. Yeah, some hot chamber pot. There we go. However, if this low rush is red, and I don't know if we have confirmation, but that's kind of been the large amount of speculation. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Having that one color of low rush, although it's a solid like deep blue, and everyone's like kind of happy with it, it doesn't look very good on red Beyblades by and large. So having a red low rush now, I think this is going to be the part. So right now, for instance, like the green Go Circle is going for like $65 online because
Wild.
it has the green hexa. This is going to be the exact same situation. So if you want this Beyblade, try to get it early because once the random booster supply dries up, this Weiss Tiger is going to be a $65 Beyblade. I promise you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so TP is trans point, so that's what it is. Not toilet paper.
It's not toilet paper.
It's
Okay.
not toilet paper. No,
Oh.
believe it or not. I mean,
Toilet paper
technically-
was fitting with the chamber pot theme though.
Yeah,
Like
Jesus.
it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
So-
$115 for I'm gonna like 4 out of the 6 bays are decent. The parts are for all of them are pretty decent. So if you guys can justify $115 with free shipping, also if you use code SPINZONE, you do get 7% off. So it's a good
So I'm gonna have a hot take. First off, I have to agree with Cake. We are kind of sponsored by Bays and Bricks. So if you are gonna buy this set, I do believe that the 115 through Bays and Bricks is a very fair price. Also, actually, we need to be nice to our viewers. Cake, the reason that I didn't see this listing is that it is sold out currently. I am on it right now, and I
Oh.
cannot add it to my cart. That's why it wasn't showing up on the
Okay.
main page for me.
Yeah,
You can
it
still
says-
find it if you dig around, but right now it's out of stock. Now they might put up a few more sets before launch, but just be aware that you can't actually buy this on Bays and Bricks right now.
But
I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it on the air, guys. But if you do want this set, I do know of another site that's selling it for the same price, and I will DM that to you. But they don't sponsor us, so I can't talk about it on the podcast.
So, if you do want it, you can actually still pre-order the random booster for $23.
That's terrible. That's terrible though, because
And I get
you
it, but if you
it's
want to take
it's
a shot,
significantly more expensive.
mm-hmm.
You got to figure that's what 18 plus
Oh,
that's $138, and you're not even guaranteed to get the full set.
yeah, $124.
Is it? No, it's not. Is it really?
I just added
Oh,
6 of them.
after the discount code.
No, that's before the discount code.
Oh,
Ooh.
because they have the buy 2 or more get 10%. Okay, so it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
$124 for 6, and that's just 6 of them. So who knows? You could get 6 drawn daggers, all I know. But if you want to take that,
I sure hope not, because then I'm definitely going to the chamber pot and seppukuing myself. Holy crap!
Dead.
That would be terrible. So guys, overall, like, listen, if you're gonna buy it, I gotta rep Bays and Bricks. You should buy it through Bays and Bricks. Cakes, explained the 10% off thing in conjunction with the 7% off discount code we offer. That's great. However, guys, I'm gonna be of the opinion that, like, this is a random booster that I think you can pass on and you're not gonna be losing out. If you just want the mummy because it's a new blade, just go buy the mummy. Like, I don't think any of these other bays are just so riveting or so amazing that everyone just needs to buy the full set.
That's fair.
The red low rush is great, but functionally we all know that the drop attack stadium has been on sale for $20 several times in the past few months. I feel like everyone already has a low rush. Obviously, if they're a color hunter, that's a totally different, like, demographic of people. If they want specific colors on specific bits, they will spend to get those, and that's fine. That's the type of person that probably would just buy the full set because they want to have every bit and every ratchet and every possible color, right? But for the average functional player who maybe doesn't have hundreds of dollars a month to blow on Beyblades, I don't think you need to buy the full set of this. I think you can buy a mummy and you can be done with it.
So
I do like the green for it, though. I like the prize. I like the green mummy for it. So
I think the prize is, I think the green is actually better looking, and that's not the prize one.
Really?
Yeah, because if you look at the booster, the prize bay is always featured the most prominently, like in the middle in like a large motif, and it's the blue and gold one.
Ew.
And it even says, if you look down below, the 755 wedge is the prize one, and so actually we can see the wedge. If you look at the box art, you can see the wedge on the prize. It's like a turquoise almost. Because we were talking about what color do we think the wedge is. It looks like it's a turquoise.
Interesting.
All right, question though.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying it would be best to avoid this like the most recent Mummy movie.
Oh my God, I'm done. You're going to jail, Chad.
Anyway.
Well, if I'm going to jail, we should talk about the other Beyblade that recently came out today, or that did it already come out? The Leon Fang.
I was actually about to get that. Yeah. So
460 XL.
Yeah. So this is the Beyblade X Evo Battles Nintendo Switch video game. What Chad's talking about. It is Leon Fang, which it looks sweet.
Oh, it looks magnificent.
Yeah, but T460 Accelerate.
So I have some opinions on this. So firstly, this isn't even a metal coat day, okay? And I've come to expect that when I buy a video game, that it's going to have a metal coat with it, okay? So that's a little disappointing. Number two, if we look at Bays and Bricks, and I assume all import sites are similar on this, we're looking at $99.99 for this, okay?
Yep.
But it's not even in stock right now on Bays and Bricks. It might be elsewhere, but it's not on Bays and Bricks. My biggest problem is that we know Okay, we have the leaks for the next wave of Hasbro. This bay is going to be in the next wave of Hasbro releases.
Yes.
Yep.
So for me, this is not a meta-defining bay. It's not a special metal coat. So I can't, in good conscience, recommend anyone go pay $100 for this. It's just not a good value. You can wait. You'll be able to buy it for $15 at your local Walmart or on Amazon or wherever else. Yeah, there's just no reason to spend $100 on this.
Yeah.
Yep. Man.
It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool bay, and I want it now. Trust me. I've been cruising around Mercari.jp, and I want to buy one.
Yeah.
But I am not going to spend $100. It's too much.
No.
And if this game is anything like the last game, which I didn't care for the last game, it's pretty boring, but that's just my personal opinion. If you guys actually played the first Beyblade X video game on the Switch and actually enjoyed it, let me know. Put it down up in the comments.
I've heard positive
three of
things.
you.
Yeah, all three of you. I've heard positive things about this game in comparison to the previous one. What I will say, and again, I'm not telling anyone to buy this, okay? I've told you not to buy it. However, if you're one of those people that just can't resist and are trying to find a justification to purchase this, at the very least, unlike the previous iteration of Beyblade game for the Switch, which the cartridge was Japanese language only, this cartridge can be in English or Japanese. You can switch the language.
Oh.
So, at the very least, if you absolutely you have $100 burning a hole in your pocket and you want your Leon Fang right now, at least if you buy this, you can play the game in English. That's the one positive thing I can say.
Woohoo!
Besides the purple wyvern, there's actually, I don't know if you guys have looked at Bays and Bricks, but they got these cool display cases now.
Where are you finding these under? Oh, pre-order Beyblade display case with backlight, fits all series, X Metal Burst and original dual version.
Yeah, so for $33, you can get one that holds 4 bays, and then also for $44, you can get one that holds 8 bays.
Well, I mean, I almost wouldn't even talked about the first one, because why would you not just get the one for $11 more that holds 4 more bays? Like, that
Right.
seems like a no-brainer to me.
I mean, it depends on the kind of space that you got. So if you only have like a small amount of, or if you only really want to display.
Oh, these are stackable too. I'm looking at the graphic for the 8 slot ones, and they're stacked. It looks like they have little notches or whatever, and they stack like really nice. This is beautiful. Now, I haven't looked into Beyblade display cases specifically, so I don't know if the pricing on this is like great or whatever. I haven't even looked at the materials. Okay. Well, see, so made of high quality materials, that doesn't invigorate me with confidence. That seems like a very generic, like Chinese, like ad on Amazon, like made with the best materials, and all the reviews say it breaks after 3 days.
Military grade.
Yeah, military grade my ass is what I usually say to that. But this thing looks pretty high quality.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's made to be functionally stackable is amazing. The fact that it has a backlight built in, which just needs a USB plug. So even if you bought, let's say, 6 of these, you wouldn't have to have 6 separate outlet holes to plug them into. You could just get a small USB hub and plug them all into that. So it actually is a really good system. I'm actually a fan of this. I will say that I know a lot of people struggle to want to spend $44 on something to display what they've already spent a ton of money on. But if you are the type of person who likes to display your stuff, this actually looks like a really cool thing.
Yeah, it does.
And I definitely think it's better than a lot of the alternatives I've seen.
But my question is, with the picture that they posted on basedbricks.com, like Silver Wolf, I can justify. Shark Scale, I can justify. Wizard Rod, I can justify. But why Pharaoh? Why Wizard Arrow are you displaying those?
Probably just to show off that some of the taller bays can fit, if anything.
Yeah, I think the idea behind this was to demonstrate that bays of because they very clearly say these should hold all generations, all sizes. So what they've essentially done here is they've put Wizard Rod in here, which is a Beyblade with an extremely wide motif.
Mm-hmm.
They put what is this, Leon Crest, which has that big plastic buffer on the
Yeah.
underside. So that fits. They've shown several different CX blades fitting between Cerberus and Pegasus Blast here. Silver Wolf is in here, which also shows that something with an like I don't. It's not an assist blade really, but it's an extra piece. You know, like Scorpion, similar to that. That'll fit. And then they have a few random ones. But I think they're trying to demonstrate that bays of all shapes and sizes are going to fit.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, besides those, which we tackled quite a bit on, yeah, obviously you got the $217 hovered wyvern that's on 280 gear needle, the metal coat violet, or for $110 you can get a hovered wyvern 280 gear needle that's not the metal coat, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a tough one for me to justify to players. The regular purple one, like not the metal coat, like that being over $100, like nobody here needs that for over $100. You have a non-metal coat hover wyvern that you could have just bought in a set with impact rake and a stadium for $20 over Black Friday. If you're spending over $100 on this one, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you
Sure.
want the metal coat one because you're a collector and you like to want to buy one of these new cases that we just talked about, you want to display these things, that I can understand. But, you know, if you're going to do that, buy it to display it. Don't pay $200 to play a purple metal coat when you can just play the one you got in the Drop Attack Stadium set for $20 last month. There's no reason for that.
Very true.
In before someone in the Minnesota scene does it just to flex.
Listen, and listen, if you have money like that, okay, when I'm talking about, like, listen, if you're balling out of control and you're a lawyer or you're you know, you own a construction company or you play, you know, in AAA for the Minnesota Twins or something, and you have some money to blow and you want to buy these expensive Beyblades, that's your right. I'm not telling anyone like, oh, like
How to
you're
spend
not
your
allowed
money.
to spend your money. It's
Yeah.
mostly for the average person who does not have an unlimited budget. I'm making a suggestion. Is this a wise purchase? Do you need to have this? Yes or no? And the question with the answer with these hover wyverns is no, not at those price points.
And especially with 280 gear needle.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on 280 gear needle, but we're not going to touch on those.
Yeah,
The
we're
last
running out
thing
of
I
time
wanted
as
to
is.
talk about, the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is still under new releases, is now not just on Walmart. Amazon has also put up a page for the Hasbro release of the Extreme Expansion Pack. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with that, Sam has posted the link in the appropriate thread on the Discord. You can check it out. But
Links
it
are
has
in the description.
Yep, it has the Nightmail, the Ghost Circle, and the Blue Metal Coat Hell's Hammer. It's got the 4 ratchets, the 385, the 455, the 965, and the 770. And then we've got the 5 bits. Unfortunately, Metal Needle is in there. I wish they had just deleted that one and included the other bit from the Japanese set instead. Can't have everything. Guys, the page is up on Amazon. You cannot order on Amazon yet. However, you can pre-order it on Walmart already. And the price on that, the MSRP is $29.99, which I honestly think is a pretty good value, considering you get 3 blades, 4 ratchets, and 5 bits for $30. I don't think that's a bad deal at all.
Not at all.
Especially considering it is the U.S. debut of Nightmail. So if you haven't really dipped your toes in the Takara Tomy import waters, this is going to be your first opportunity to own Nightmail, and it's a really cool blade. Probably not S tier, but I definitely think it's an A tier blade. The Ghost Circle is kind of matte, especially since we already got that in a dual pack very recently. But this is a good way to get a Rubber Excel. I know a lot of players who don't import don't have a Rubber Excel right now. And the Blue Metal Coat Hell's Hammer, well, Hell's Hammer isn't exactly a banger of a blade. It is really cool looking, and it's a great display piece. I think for $30 for 3 blades, 4 ratchets, 5 bits, one of the blades is very functionally good. One of the blades is a very beautiful display metal coat piece. $30. That seems like a fair price for all that. This is one that
100%.
if you are missing stuff from this, I would 100%. I would recommend buying it. I can say like pretty firmly, like this is a pretty good purchase for players who don't have the items that are in here.
It's in Great
Unfortunately,
Plains.
Metal Needle's still there, but
It's in Great Plains.
What can you do?
Yeah, it's in Great Plains. It is it's under new and upcoming releases, and then you have to actually like click on that and go to the thread, and you probably have to click on the thread to find it. It's called Hasbro customized set parentheses question mark. I can even tag you in.
No, you're good. For some reason I just didn't have that selected for my appropriate yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if you
I'm
follow that link, you'll find the Amazon page. It's not up for pre-order yet. However, if you look it up on Walmart, you can already pre-order it for the $29.97, and it is telling us that the release date is going to be January 1st. So that's coming up pretty quick, less than a month away at this point. So if this is something you want and you don't want to have to try to scramble to get it in the store or wait, to see whatever, just pre-order on Walmart right now. You can do it right now. It's easy, no problem. We did get some leaks on some other Walmart stuff, but that's a lot to talk about, and maybe we should save that for next episode because we're already kind of running.
Yeah, because we're what are we looking into? Almost 2 hours already, which again, and we say this almost every time, like there's just a lot to talk about Beyblades and good ideas. So yeah, definitely next time we can kind of talk about more releases because there are a lot more releases than everything to talk about. And hopefully by next week, we got more confirmed. We got more stuff on Bays and Bricks to order from, and so on and so forth.
I'm hoping. I can't wait for that Arachi to come out. I'm super excited about that snake one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Medusa looking bay that looks sick. So I guess we will see whenever we see any sort of more confirmation on anything. So if we do hear about anything, we will let you guys know. But normally we talk about tournaments and everything coming up. But this month we don't have anything.
Yeah, it's pretty light. Guys, next week Acuna has his event at the library. It's limited to 24 players. It was a qualification-based event throughout the season, so if you're invited to it, you already know you're invited to it. There will not be any walk-ins or additional signups accepted for that event. I will say that Acuna has mentioned that the event's not going to start until noon or a little bit after. From 9 a.m. to noon, that room is available and people will be there for free play. So if you did just want to stop by for a few hours and let some bays rip, maybe spectate the tournament, that is allowed. Even if you are not qualified, you can still come by, partake in the morning free play, and spectate if you choose. So that's going to be pretty cool. So that room opens at 9 at the Minneapolis Central Library. The event starts at about noon if you just wanted to come and stop by and check out the event. It's going to be pretty cool. Acuna's got some dope prizing lined up. I'm not going to spoil it, but cool. Different than kind of the standard, so I think people are going to like it. With that being said, the only other event I can talk about right now, and it is not posted on WBO yet, I have not gotten around to it, but we will be having a ranked event at Kraken Hits January 3rd, 4 p.m. doors, 5 p.m. start time. I will have more information on all that very shortly. However, there are a couple of meetings I need to have before I think I post that to WBO. So look forward to that coming January 3rd, Saturday, January 3rd. Yeah.
Ooh, I might.
You are working.
I am working. Oh, I miscalculated. Damn it.
Yeah, you already told me. You already told me in our group chat that you were working.
Yep.
And you said you didn't switch your shift until the next weekend. And I must said, well, that sucks, cake. But at the very least, you'll never have to miss one again after that.
Very true. I'm so excited for that. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I get to participate in more Beyblade activities. But yeah, We do
So now
have
you
some.
know, guys, Cake's work schedule is changing. So after January 10th, if he doesn't show up to your event, it's not because he couldn't make it, it's because he doesn't like your events. So just remember that.
That's not always true.
I'm just fucking with you, brother. I'm having a good time.
Anyway, but we do have some good things coming up with the podcast. We're just kind of keeping that all up in the air, fingers crossed. But if you guys did enjoy the podcast, please like it, please follow if you guys have not done yet. So rate 5 stars, which is fantastic. It shows so much love for the podcast and more drive for us at the Spin Zone. So keep doing what you guys are doing. Much love for you guys. Just and also just a quick reminder: uh, once we get 100 followers, we are giving away one free to any U.S. state or territory, free shipping, free what everything. We will take care of everything. Once we get to 100 followers, we will be giving that away to one lucky winner. So faster we get that done, faster we give that away. And if we do get 100 followers within a more amount of time, who knows? Maybe there will be more prizes. I don't know. We will see. But is there anything else that we should kind of chit chat about, or are we ready to call it a day there, gentlemen?
We've talked about everything that I can think of, at least.
All right. Yeah, I am good as well. So, guys, once again, we do appreciate and love all of the support that you guys are giving us here at the Spin Zone podcast. So, if you guys have any sort of suggestions for any tournaments that you guys think of that we did not think about, post those up in the comments. We love to hear from you guys. I read every single comment that you guys post. But yeah, keep showing all the love and the support. And until next time, guys, so long. Stay safe out there. Have a great and awesome rest of your day. Take care. Much love, guys.